LaNorris Sellers trending in the right direction to play Saturday. Does that change our pick? We get into South Carolina versus Missouri. Full preview with our buddy SEC Mike Bratton. Locked on Gamecocks starts right now.
You are Locked On Gamecocks, your daily podcast on the South Carolina Gamecocks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Locked On Gamecocks. I'm your host, Chris Marler. I appreciate everyone tuning in to our episode today, tuning in every day. Shout out to our everydayers. Remember, we're a free and available podcast wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode brought to you by our friends at none other than Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward Mazda Move and Be Moved. Speaking of unexpected, pulling off the unexpected, South Carolina headed to Columbia, Missouri, in a game where I said this yesterday in a show we did that has not gone up yet, just because of how crazy the last 24 hours have been. But we are talking about a game that has gone from 3.5 in the line, 3.5, 6.5, 13.5, 14.5. I'm sorry, 12.5, 13.5, down to 10.5, hovering at 9.5 right now. And now there are rumors that LaNorris Sellers is trending in the right direction. There were rumors yesterday. Got a new mic, getting ready to break it in. Very excited that there were. We almost had a live show on this because there were rumors that the wrong quarterback may have been designated as out because of all the rumors saying that Beau Pribula over there in Como might be out as well. We're also hearing some rumors that Caden Green might be out. I don't think the Pribula rumors are correct. I don't know about Caden Green. We're going to be joined regardless by a buddy who wears a lot of hats, none dumber than the one he currently has on his head. SEC Mike, welcome. That's not bad. That's kind of cool. What's going on with you?
Hey, is the studio check? Can anyone see that besides me and you?
No, we're live for sure. We're not live. We're not live, but we are recording. That's a great, great hat, dummy. Yeah. Welcome to SEC Mike. Mike, how you doing this week?
Why are you always making fun of my hats? You got a hat on too, and just mine's cooler.
My hat's way cooler. It's from the game, and they have all your greatest retro caps and retro designs. Look at this thing, dude. Look at this thing. I feel like 1991 right now.
That is a cool hat.
But other than that, I feel great.
That's where I got this hat. How dare you?
The game?
Yeah.
I love it.
I went to the Hawaii game over the weekend.
I love that. Let's just jump right into this, dude. There's a lot of like noise going around that there might be some injuries over here at Mizzou. Before we even dive into the injuries,
wait, may I ask you some questions? I know you're the interviewer, but I'm better at this job than you. What is the deal? What is the deal with South Carolina fans? Again, great fans. They've been all in on Beamer. Hell, I thought he got all the benefit of the doubt after last year. Should have made the college football playoff. We all know last season, but and I'm sure this is not the entire fan base by any means, but the people that tune into that SEC podcast that are big Gamecock fans, I would say about 90% of them have turned on this team, this coach after one loss. And I'm sitting here, I'm trying to figure out why that could be when they have such a program on the rise.
So I haven't seen that as much. I think there was, after the loss, there was a lot of initial people jumping off the bandwagon, jumping off the ship, and assuming it was drowning, right? The other thing, though, I think like as the week has gone on, I've seen a lot of other people like talking me off the ledge because we do our instant overreaction show on Sunday, then we do our show, our reaction show that's a little bit more normal and tempered and more logical on Monday. And there were a lot of people in the comments there that were like, I think we're going to be fine. But there are also some like glaring frustrations, like going into year 3, even without LaNorris being injured, like that offensive line has been frustrating to watch. So I don't think that they're jumping off the ship. I think you're right. Like it's still trending in the right direction. It's still like everyone they're bringing in here, but you've gotten a couple of big recruits coming in this class. But you also have your highest ranked roster that you've had, I think, since like 2014 or something like that, or 2011, which says a lot. And to come out of the gates, you didn't just lose to Vanderbilt, you lost by 24. I think that's where the frustration lies.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. But again, don't be all out on Shane Beamer. I think that's crazy, and I think he can win them all back this weekend by going up to the lesser Columbia and beating up on Missouri. How about that?
I think the other part too is that you look at some of the stuff. It's like week to week, we don't know what we're looking at, right? Like we are looking at like, oh, we think this team's the best in the country. Like LSU after week 1, everyone thought was the best team in America, or right. Ohio State, and now no one else in this conference has watched Ohio State with good reasons in the last 2 weeks. And so now you have LSU. They kind of struggle with Florida. They struggle with Louisiana Tech. And you look at that and you're like, oh, maybe they're not as good. Georgia gives up 41 points to Tennessee. I think the team that has the most juice right now is Oklahoma and Tennessee. And you could also argue we don't know as much about those teams because they're about to get into their gauntlet of their schedule. So
yeah, and the one team you didn't reference, again, I'm not trying to rub salt in the wound, but maybe Vanderbilt is a top 5 SEC team for all we know. And then by the end of the season, we look back and say, all right, yeah, we shouldn't have lost by that margin at home, but our quarterback got hurt, and maybe it was one of the better teams in the Southeastern Conference. I mean, Vanderbilt's going to be 5-0 here, folks, and they're going to play Alabama again. Now, I would anticipate Alabama beating them, but Vanderbilt's a lot better than they were last year, and they beat Alabama. So, if I don't think this is crazy talk, if Vanderbilt's 6-0 with a win at Alabama, I think we're going to look back and say, well, hell, I guess that loss wasn't near as bad as we thought.
You can kind of look at it and like we'll see what we know this weekend, but like you can kind of look at it in the same lens as you did with the Bama Florida State thing, which is like you knew going into that game that was like if they lose this game, it's only going to be talked about from like a 2-10 Florida State team. Now we're looking at Florida State, and I still say we don't know enough about them, but like they have looked like a top 10 team. I think they came out the next week and scored like 180 points against whoever they played, like a directional Texas A&M school, which was insane. But I mean, like, that's how people are talking about that loss now. So it's been something that's clearly been good for Bama. We saw this last year with South Carolina, which was they got trounced at home by Ole Miss, 27-3, right? And it was like embarrassing. It was a horrible loss, and they looked inept at times in that game. You saw what they did after that, which was they turned the corner and were able to turn things around. Do you think we might see something similar to that or close to that? Because I know you're high on Missouri, as am I, but like I'm kind of with you here, and I'm glad somebody else is saying it besides myself, which is like stop jumping off the ship's not sinking.
Right, and I think Missouri is a little overrated. Maybe again, I go largely off of how each fan base feels currently. Yeah. And Missouri thinks they're going 12-0. They're going to kill everybody and they're unstoppable. When in reality, they beat, I think, a mid-Kansas team, and they were losing that game with 5 minutes remaining in it. So, again, it was a good win. I'm going to give them that. But they beat Central Arkansas and they beat Louisiana, which literally did not have a quarterback. They were playing a running back at quarterback, and they threw for 4 yards in the football game. So that's their resume. Is Missouri a bad team? No, I'm not saying that, but they're not. They should not be massive, massive favorites in this football game if Sellers is healthy and can play the game we know he's capable of playing. I think South Carolina can win this football game. So, yeah, I think we need to kind of pump the brakes on South Carolina's in a dumpster fire and Missouri's marching their way to the playoff. I don't think that's anywhere close to reality.
I agree with you. Listen, we're going to keep you on for this full 30 minutes. We got a good show coming up. I appreciate you guys joining us. Yeah. Before we get on to the next subject here, because I talked to a few people today. We'll get into the actual game itself, kind of break down what we think is going to happen, some keys and hot takes from it, and then in the final segment we'll obviously give our predictions. I was telling somebody about this today, and it was a very good friend of mine I've known since high school. It's a South Carolina fan, Hannah Bagnall. Hannah sells real estate, or Hannah sells ATL on Twitter. She's a real estate agent. Check her out. No free ads. But she made the point, like after the game, she's like, it's over. We're going to go 2-10. I hate it. Everything's awful. It's like sky's falling. And then I got a text from her today saying, yeah, I'm back on the 11-1 train. Like I'm feeling good. We've come full circle. It's now Friday. We're a day away from the game, and we're feeling better. So that might be how it's feeling as well. I'm going to take you off the screen for a second because you're going to make me laugh like always, and I'm not a great reader. Before we get into our break, I do want to give a quick shout out to our friends at Mazda. You heard me mention them at the top of the show. We're going to mention them again right now, and they are doing great things with Mazda Custom. I tell you what, this episode is brought to you by Mazda's Moving the Game Forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. I tell you what, you think about some of the game last week, there's not a ton of highlights, but early on in that first drive, there was a lot going on that were positive from South Carolina's standpoint, especially offensively. Hoping we see more of that this week against Mizzou, but would have been nice to see what that looks like with a full 60 minutes of LaNorris Sellers and company a week ago. Hopefully we get that this weekend. As I said earlier at the top of the show, his health is trending in the right direction. But when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Also want to give a shout out to our friends at Wayfair. These guys have helped me a ton. This is not a set behind me, guys. Okay, this is not a set. This is real, actual furniture that we got from our friends at Wayfair. The weather's cooling down. The days are getting shorter. I think we can all agree with that. I don't know where the weather's cooling down because it's not anywhere I'm at. I'll tell you that right now. But regardless of that, with the days getting shorter, it has me wanting to make my home feel even cozier. And you can do that with Wayfair better than anywhere else. Wayfair is the place to go. Wayfair has everything you need to set the mood for the season, whether it's comfy recliners, warm bedding, autumn decor, or even an espresso machine, huh? Mike has 2 of them. So you can make your favorite latte at home. That sounds like a latte fun. Am I right, Mike? All right, listen, cozify your place and cozify your space with Wayfair's curated collection of easy, affordable fall updates from comfy recliners to cozy bedding and autumn decor. You'll find it all for way less than anywhere else at Wayfair.com. That's Wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. We'll be right back with way more Locked On Gamecocks right after this. Good job, Chris. Nailed it. We're back.
Hey, speaking of Wayfair, that's where I got this what do you call it? Shelving unit. And if you check out, I want to plug same network, so I don't think you'll mind. The Locked On Tennessee, Eric Kane, he does a heck of a job. He's got the same one because he came on my show and he was like, "Hey, where'd you get that filing cabinet or whatever you want to call it?" And I said, "Hey, check out Wayfair. I'll send him the link. Boom, helping people." Brother,
send me the link. Have you seen my background? I got like the longest, most concerned and honestly helpful like post about like, hey man, love the show. Things are going great. Can you just get a damn microphone that works? And because like the mic so we got a new mic. We're going to be hooking that up. Probably should have already done that for this episode, but whatever. Right. Next is going to be the background. So we'll head to Wayfair for that. All right, Mike, let's get into the game, dude. And thank you again for joining us. We're going to do this every Friday. I was thinking about this and let us know in the comments what you think. Should we just do a live show, like a happy hour show on Friday?
I mean, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it really is. I had a happy hour last night, Mike, that went on for way longer than an hour, and I am struggling today. I'll tell you that.
I always feel bad on my show, so people throw money at us, and Chris is like, "Hey, am I getting it?" Like,
I don't expect
do it on your show, dummy. You know, come on.
I don't think we're allowed to get that money, but it's fine.
Oh, gotcha.
All right, getting some unsweet tea like a normal Southerner. I probably shouldn't be drinking unsweet tea this week because that feels very Missouri coded going into this weekend. Let's talk about this game. And I want to read this. You kept interrupting me before like you always do because you have no professionalism in your body at all. Okay, South Carolina quarterback LaNorris Sellers was back in practice on Thursday, continues to trend towards playing on Saturday at Missouri. Barring a setback, sources told On3, the quarterback exited the Vanderbilt game in the first half with a concussion. He was upgraded to probable on the SEC injury report on Thursday night. Mike, I said this yesterday as a joke, and so it doesn't matter because I haven't aired the episode yet because I'm an idiot. But this line has gone all over the place. And I made the joke to John Miller, our Locked On Mizzou guy. I said, if this betting line was any more or less stable, I would try and date it because it's just all over the place. So I'm pulling up the line right now to see where it's at. What are your thoughts on this game? Just big picture to start.
Yeah, I think it's massive for the Gamecocks, obviously, particularly after what happened last week. But, I've said it many times this offseason, Chris. I think it's not necessarily a playoff elimination game, although it certainly could be trending that way for the Gamecocks. But I thought for both of these teams, because of what they have upcoming on the schedule, I think the winner of this game stays in the playoff hunt. I think the loser still alive, but are they going to navigate the entire stretch of the schedule to get there? That seems highly unlikely to me. So in my mind, this is essentially like a playoff type game. Yeah. I think that's how it should be viewed. And we got two of the best coaches in the SEC. And man, I think, again, Missouri fans don't appreciate me saying this. We got a lot of Missouri fans over at that SEC podcast, but I think they're number one. I'm not calling them a fraud, but they're number one, I think, in the SEC that could be on fraud watch this weekend, them and perhaps Auburn as well. But I think even Missouri is even bigger, perhaps, because Auburn was able to win by 2 touchdowns on the road against a quality Baylor team. Missouri's not done anything to that caliber. So I think Missouri is on serious fraud watch this weekend.
I think the other thing, too, is I was telling somebody the other day, which is, they've had Carolina's number over the last however many years. I mean, they had 5 straight wins going into last season. They almost had 6 straight if it wasn't for the heroics of LaNorris Sellers. They haven't had to play away from home, and granted, they're not playing away from home this week. But I think part of that almost makes me feel like in my mind, I'm hoping this plays out just like Ole Miss then Bama last year for South Carolina, which was at home, huge game. Beamer gets a little bit in over his head and makes some decisions I didn't love. That's not what happened last week against Vanderbilt, but they lose by 24 points and they go on the road and they have a close loss. I'm not hoping they lose back-to-back games. What I am hoping for is, I'm kind of glad this one's on the road. You were 3-1 on the road last year. Your only loss to the 2-point loss at Bama where they probably could have won. I think LaNorris Sellers later in the year probably hits that pass to at least tie it up. And you sit there in a situation where it's like, okay, well, now you are in the driver's seat to really end this season in a positive way. You need to bounce back right now. I don't even know if playing at home would have been the bounce back you needed after what happened on that field a week ago. Am I crazy for that?
No, not at all. It's just this game. I understand why Gamecock fans are not feeling great about it, but I love the fact that they're kind of the underdogs in this role because South Carolina seems to really thrive in that role, whereas Missouri, I mean, how many times are they favored? Again, you were mentioning the line. I don't know what it currently is, but it's been, I think it opened at 7.5. I've seen it 13. I've seen it 9. I don't even know where it's at as we currently speak. But
this many.
I don't think that's a good spot for Missouri. I really don't, to be a double-digit favorite against this caliber of a Southeastern Conference opponent that's like a wounded animal coming into this game. And what do they say, Chris? I mean, you pin a wounded animal with its back against the wall, you better watch out because those cocky claws are going to be coming for you. You know what I'm saying?
That is the saying. All of those words, that is the saying. I think we could all agree we've had that stitched on a throw pillow somewhere around the house, probably from Wayfair.
I've got that tattooed on my tramp stamp.
Okay, hold on. I knew you were going there with that, and I've seen the tattoo, guys. It's actually really nice. It's held up well.
Yeah, it's well done. Shane did it.
Way better than most Myrtle Beach tattoos. Especially since Shane did it outside of the actual tattoo parlor to save money. That's great. Okay, we don't know what we're talking about, but listen, let's get into some of the specifics of what you think has to happen here. I brought this up the other day. One of the things that I think has to happen more than anything else is they have to try and make Missouri one-dimensional as much as they can, which is tough to do because this is one of the best balanced offenses in the country so far. I think they only have a 50-yard difference total in passing yards and rushing yards on the season. And they, like I said, they've been very balanced with both, and they can do both very well. You and I both, and Cousin Shane, had Ahmad Hardy as one of the best running backs in the conference coming into the season. He has been great so far, so I think that's a key there. I think that if you're going to win this game, you have to at least try to make them play left-handed, right? Which it's going to be tough to do, but I think if you take away the run and you make Beau Pribula try to beat you with his arm, That's not a knock on Pribula because I think he's a very good quarterback, leads the SEC in completion percentage right now. He's been great. But that also plays into your biggest strength as a secondary. Like your secondary is the strength of this defense, and I think that's what they need to do.
Yeah, man, you took the words right out of my mouth. That was kind of the highlighted matchup that I have in this game. I think is going to determine it, Chris. I think it's going to be Missouri's receivers, Kevin Coleman, Marquise Johnson, Josh Manning, and then throw in the tight end, Brett Nortfleet. Those weapons against Jalen Kilgore, Vakari Swain, DQ Smith, Brandon Siskey. I think, whoever wins this matchup, and it's not going to be just, one side dominating the other, but basically who makes more plays consistently in this football game. I think that's going to be give us our answer on who wins it. So I would love to see this be a Dylan Stewart game. He needs to kind of take over. And if not, all the attention that he's going to receive likely from Missouri's offensive line, we need Brian Thomas to step it up. Not that he's been bad, but with all with all the protection going to Dylan Stewart, someone's got to step up on that defensive line. And that's another avenue, I think, where South Carolina potentially has an advantage here because Missouri's offensive line has been very inconsistent themselves. In the middle of fall camp, they were planning to play Caden Green at left guard. He was preseason All-American. They had to shift him out to left tackle because they didn't have a tackle. So, I mean, this is, again, everybody looks like $1 million when they play Louisiana and Central Arkansas, and then we get into these conference games and we find out, a question mark is a huge, huge issue. I think that's another spot where South Carolina can take advantage of Missouri this weekend.
I agree with you. I think that the other thing too is I love what you said about the defensive ends and not just Dylan Stewart being able to get up the field into the backfield and get after the quarterback because like Pribula is a good runner. He's very good at that. But with Caden Green, and now there's rumors that he's injured. I don't know how accurate they are, but there's rumors that he's injured. Either way, that's a strength for you. If they can figure out a way to protect Sellers at all, I think the other thing too is, Mike, offensively, I think you come out and you show a bunch of stuff that you haven't shown yet. I think that, like, South Carolina wants to run the football. South Carolina has not been able to run the football. I think you come out here and you like you said, when your back's against the wall and it's the fourth quarter and the cows are calling and you're circling the wagons and all the other stuff that you said.
The cows are calling, yeah.
Ducks fly together. Quack, quack, quack. So I think the thing that you do though is you sit here and you figure out a way to like how do you keep them off balance and on their toes. If we have to see LaNorris throw the ball 30 to 35 times in a game, then so be it. I think he has the ability to do that, but I think this is one of those games where early on you need a win. Go put the game on the back of your quarterback. Like, yes, I love Oscar Attaway. Yes, I love Faison. Like those kids, I'm hoping they break out at some point. But I think this is a game where LaNorris Sellers has 24 carries for 45 yards this year, man. 15 of the 45 came in the first touchdown of the year. Like, this has to be a LaNorris Sellers game where you have to protect him. Hopefully he doesn't get injured. But I think that you come out and throw the football all over the yard and show them something they haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's an excellent point, Chris, as usual from you. And one other key that we haven't referenced, Missouri's kicker. They have a really good kicker. He's out for the year, unfortunately. So they're down to a true freshman, and then they added a transfer from junior college after the season started. I literally didn't know you could do that. But none of them have been in a key pressure situation. So if it's comes down to a field goal kick, I don't like Missouri's chances to make a critical kick in this football game or even a kick of long distance.
Smell that? It smells like Beamer ball to me, brother. I can't wait. I hate that joke. That was a bad dad joke. All right. We're going to take Mike off screen for a second, say some bad things behind his back that he probably can't hear. And then I did it wrong. We are going to come back and close up. While you're waiting in the green room here, Mike, figure out we're gonna have some best bets for SEC games and also a score prediction for this game as well, as long as one hot take for this game. So be thinking about it. Before we do that, want to give a shout out to our friends at Square. I tell you what, Square is one of the sponsoring partners for this episode. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home, whether it's a local sports bar, whether it's Village Idiot Pizza, something like that. the bar that's local packed on game days. Way back in my day, it was Wild Hair Saloon sometimes on Sundays. Sometimes it would be in the Vista. Sometimes it'd be in 5 Points. Any of the above would play. But the coffee shop that knows your order by heart, or the corner deli that's been serving your community for decades, these are the places that bring people together. When neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. So, like I said, I love going down on game days. Last year, going down either whether it be Lowe's or Publix or just the local bar and watching these games. You can do all of that. And Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. And like we said, when local businesses thrive, we all thrive and the whole neighborhood thrives. Square, see you in the neighborhood. Also, want to give a shout out to our friends at DoorDash. Listen, they're doing this again this week, and I think this is a really, really cool promotion. It's almost the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. Now, this week's choice for Player of the Week, I don't know if I have one. So we're going to save it for next week and double down and hopefully have another one. Last time it was Vakari Swain after the South Carolina State game. And I'm going to be a stickler. I'm not going to give one out this week because I don't know if they have deserved it yet after last week's game against Vanderbilt. But I tell you what, just like Vakari Swain did a few weeks ago against South Carolina State, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you can save every single Saturday you order. Stack it up all season long, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. If you order this Saturday, keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. So order every Saturday, and don't forget to do it this Saturday. Terms apply, and the promo ends on November 18th. I tell you what, we're going to get back into the show after a short break. I'm not reading very well today, that's for sure. And then we will get Mike in here to close out today's episode. Locked On Gamecocks continues next. Nope. There he is. All right.
Hey, we got to wrap this up. My DoorDash is about to get here.
Love that. Is that real?
No.
We'll wrap it up.
I do like DoorDash, though. Go check them out.
That streak is awesome. Like just the fact that you can save just by doing something we already probably do on Saturdays anyway. I love that. Great promo. Anyway, so let's get into the game. We'll give a prediction. Before we do, I want to go through some quick games as well around the SEC. Just get your take on it since we have SEC Mike from that SEC podcast on the show today. Rapid fire picks. Let's go. First and foremost, Auburn, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Is that what they do?
I think it's a song. Yeah, that's like a play or something.
You were in the play. I remember that. Yeah.
Do you want a breakdown or just predictions here?
Just a prediction.
Okay.
Yep.
Oklahoma.
I like that. Miami, Florida.
Give me them Gators. Come on.
No
Billy
way.
saves his job.
That's the worst thing that could happen. It's the worst thing that could happen to that program. I don't know if there's any other big ones. I know UAB's got Tennessee. Tulane Ole Miss is an interesting one. Who do you have in Tulane Ole Miss?
I got Ole Miss destroying them.
Really? That line is kind of stinky. It's like 12.5.
I know. Perfect. They're trying to sucker you in with Tulane.
They
Give me
are.
Ole Miss by 20.
Okay, and then last but not least, Arkansas and Memphis. That's an interesting one as well. It's like 7.5. I think it's at Memphis.
It is, but guess what? They don't got Taylor Green. Come on! Razorbacks win it by 18.
Perfect. Okay, hold on. We have late breaking news. Let's do this. We have no breaking news. It's just my boss texted me 1,000 times during the show. Here we go. South Carolina headed to Mizzou. Give me your prediction and preview. Give me a breakdown in this one. You ready to go? And a hot take.
Wow, preview, prediction. Man, the Battle of Columbia. Isn't this used to be a trophy game of some sorts? I don't know, but
baby.
I can't believe, Chris, that everybody's selling the Gamecocks down the river. Come on, brother. This is going to be a marquee matchup of one of the best emerging rivalries, I think, in the Southeastern Conference. With that dorky Drinkwitz over here, we got Shane Beamer. He's probably writing on his glass wall right now, Mizzou sucks. And I think he might be right. Chris. I think Mizzou might. Now, I do like what I've seen from Beau Pribula, Ahmad Hardy. Yeah, he's a machine. I get it. And yes, they've added a lot of talent via the transfer portal on the defensive side of the football, but they were getting just exposed, I thought. If you go back and watch that Kansas game, bust after bust after bust in that football game. There is, like you said, speculation. Caden Greener hurt. Beau Pribula hurt. I don't think Beau's really hurt, but I don't know. I've not heard it confirmed that he's not either, so I'm just throwing that out there. But I think we got a back-and-forth football game. I think we're going to get the best performance to date from the South Carolina Gamecocks, brother. Give me upset. I guess the spread. Give me Mizzou 24, South Carolina 23.
Okay, I like that. Wait, against the spread. Okay, fair. So I'm with you on so much of this. I think it's a little bit higher scoring. I kind of think I think I said this yesterday on John's show. I had it around 28-20, 28-17, which I think sounds about right because of where the spread is. But now, kind of look at this with LaNorris being in a possible situation where he's going to play. Like this whole new era we're in of, hey, all of the injury reports that have to be updated starting on Wednesday, then Thursday, and then Friday. We're gonna have to adjust all of our shows because Wednesday we record something and it's like, oh, here's the prediction, and then it's like, okay, well, he's gonna play this week. And you also saw it last year with Drinkwitz, where I think Brady Cook went from doubtful to probable in like the span of 12 minutes for the game. So
right.
I love South Carolina in this game. I love them being able to circle the wagons on the road like they did last year. 3-1 on the road. They were really good. I love the fact that they're the underdog. I love they have their backs against the wall a little bit, and that they finally have people stop patting them on the back, and they can get back to being a little bit more of the role they're most familiar with that chip on their shoulder. That being said, I still think Mizzou's really good. I think Mizzou's really good, and I think they're a little bit too dangerous for South Carolina right now. I'm going to change the score prediction I had with John Miller from Locked On Mizzou. I'm going to say Mizzou 31. South Carolina 27. I do think it's a lot closer than I originally thought, especially if LaNorris plays. Mike, tell everyone where they can find you. Let's just do this every Friday.
No, I'm not available. Yeah, if the game gets into the 30s, that's a troubling sign for the Gamecocks. If it's in the 20s, they can win this football game. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. Wouldn't surprise me at all, though, if the Carolina Gamecocks win this. I think they get it for Beamer and proves all the doubters wrong. So, yeah, give me a follow, SEC Mike, and give the show a like, subscribe, all that jazz. That SEC podcast.
All right. Thanks, brother. We'll do it again next week. You got to get a new hat for next week.